It is time to start another sewing pattern project and I am so excited. I just got off one of the weekly group calls with Victoria and we chatted about my inspiration and where I want to go from where I'm currently at. I already made a pair of trousers that I'm very, very proud of. I'll have that video linked for you if you haven't watched it yet. But now it's time to move on to the next step. In this pattern making course that I'm in, you can kind of take it at your own pace, but I keep having check-ins with Victoria to make sure that I'm on the right track and to get her suggestion on where to go next. After finishing this trouser pattern, I felt a little bit like I was at a crossroads. The crossroad being, should I start to learn how to pattern grade right now, or should I make another pattern before getting into grading? My thought is that obviously grading is super important and I want to be really good at it by the end of this 12-week course, and I'm about halfway through right now. But at the same time, I only have access to Victoria, who's the creator of the course, through the 12 weeks. So my thought was, does it make sense to make another sewing pattern so that I could have Victoria's instruction through the whole thing and kind of learn as much as I can from creating complicated patterns like trousers, for example? Or should I take the two patterns that I have right now, which is the pleated trousers as well as the chore coat, and learn how to grade them from here? So what Victoria suggested was that I finish one more pattern before moving into the grading section of the course. That way I'll have 3 different patterns that I can use to learn how to grade. I had 2 options in mind when figuring out what my next pattern was going to be. The first was a slip skirt and the second is a pair of jean shorts. I actually already started creating that skirt pattern on the side and it came together super fast. With the skills that I currently have, it felt really simple to make and I decided that I wanted to do something that was going to be more complex. I know that I can create as many simple patterns as I want after this course is done, but I think I really need to be focusing on things that are complex because if I have questions that arise, then I have access to Victoria to ask all these questions to and to get her just general input and guidance. So with that being said, I have chosen to make a pair of jean shorts. Back in high school / when I was in like my freshman year of college, there was a pair of shorts that I used to own that I loved to death and fit me super, super well. They were a pair of vintage Levi shorts. They had a high rise and they were tight around the waist, but they were relaxed everywhere else and they had a pretty large inseam compared to like a standard booty short. They're not booty shorts. They have probably a 3-inch inseam or something like that. Anyways, I loved those shorts. I eventually grew out of them and I gifted them away to someone else, but I would love to be able to recreate those shorts for myself in the body that I currently have, which is larger than back then. I'll post a picture of me wearing those shorts from back then so you can see them, and I'll also put some inspiration pictures up for you. I want something that's fitted at the waist as well as very comfortable through the crotch and thigh area. I find that most jeans patterns don't have that ease that I'm looking for, and definitely when it's warm out and I want to wear shorts, I do not want anything sticking that close to my body. So the goal is semi-fitted but also relaxed and comfortable. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm all about comfortable and practical garments, and so that's what I'm designing for. I'm really excited to jump into this pattern and I feel pretty confident about where to start. I already have my basic block made, which I did in a previous video, and I basically just have to manipulate it into the pattern that I want. One thing that I wasn't super sure how to start on was how to make the yoke because I've never done a yoke on the back of a pair of pants before, but I just chatted with Victoria about it in the group call and I'm feeling pretty confident about where to go from here. I'm very excited to get started, so let's get into it. So I put on a pair of shorts and I grabbed my tape measure so I can kind of start measuring where I think I want this garment to fall on my body. I turned up one side of my shorts just to kind of mimic where I think I want the pattern to end. And it looks like it's about a 3-inch inseam, so that's the measurement that I'll start working off of to draft the shorts. Now I think that one measurement that's going to be really important is the circumference that I want around the thigh area. Like I said, these are not going to be fitted through the thigh because I want some breathing room in there. So let's see. My thigh measures about 23 inches around. Let's see what opening that up a little bit looks like. I'm thinking that 25.5 inches around would feel really comfortable, and I think it would look pretty good as well. This is obviously just a starting point. Maybe 25.5 inches is too small, maybe it's too big, but I'll use it to create my first pattern, and then once I toile it, I'll be able to figure out if it's what I want or not. Other than that, I'm feeling pretty confident about the ease that I need to put through the crotch and the hips area because I've already chatted with Victoria about it and she gave me some recommendations, or basically a starting point. So I'm gonna use those measurements and I'm gonna start getting to drafting on Illustrator. Like I said, I'm feeling really confident about starting this. I've already drafted a zipper fly, so I know how that functions. I know how to draft pockets. These ones are gonna be shaped a little bit differently, but overall it should be pretty easy, I think. Maybe easy is not the right word because obviously I have never made a pair of jean shorts in Illustrator before, but with that being said, I feel confident in my skills and I'm ready to execute. So I'm gonna get into that now. Good morning, it is the next day. I'm working on my shorts pattern again this morning and we have a group call in like an hour or so. So I'm gonna hop on that soon, but I'm gonna try to get as much done on Illustrator before that so that I'm at a good check-in point when we chat with Victoria today. Something that's really cool about this whole process is that I've learned so much from Victoria's class that now I can pick up a pattern making book and I can actually understand it. I have this pattern making book here. It's called Pattern Making for Fashion Design by Helen Joseph Armstrong. I've had it for a few years now and I tried to read it cover to cover one year, but I didn't understand any of it. It like didn't make any sense. But now that I understand how pattern making works, I know how to apply my knowledge to the book essentially. Before when I picked it up, it was almost like I was reading a different language, and now I feel like I really thoroughly understand what I'm doing. So with that being said, I'm using some of the pieces from the class as well as some of the pieces from this book to draft this pair of shorts. I'm really excited to see how it comes together, so I'm going to keep working on that and I will see you when it's time for the group call. So today's group call was extra exciting because my Instagram sewing friend Brandon, who you might better know as Happily Dressed, has officially joined the course. He was on his first group call today, so I was officially able to say hello to him even though we've chatted before on Instagram. It's a little different to see him face to face. Brandon has amazing style and I've been very inspired by his makes for probably years at this point. He makes some fantastic workwear and he's also really great at conceptualizing different hacks for patterns. I really like the way he can take a pattern piece and create new style lines on it because it totally changes the look of a garment. I seriously can't wait for all the cool designs that he's gonna make, and I'm also really excited to be alongside him in this course, growing our pattern making skills together. I know that a lot of you guys have been interested in taking this course, and it is on an open enrollment basis, which basically means that you can start at any point in time. So with that being said, if you have any questions about the course, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. You can just DM me and I'm happy to answer all the questions that you have. Okay, now let me get back to chatting about these shorts. I'm really excited about them. I started tinkering around with the design last night, and then today on the group call, I showed Victoria where I was at, and we kind of chatted about some of the adjustments that I made, why I made them, and how we can change them to make them better. After I got feedback from her, I sat on the couch for a while and I just tinkered with the design. I sat around with it for long enough that I'm actually feeling really confident in it, and I think I'm ready to make a first muslin. More than any design I've made so far, this has definitely been the one that I've had the most fun making. I think it's because jeans have really fun details, and I was able to take those details and put it onto Illustrator and basically stitch together a pair of shorts in Illustrator without actually stitching them together in real life. I'll show you a picture of what I mean because it looks super cool and was so satisfying to make. This is basically how the shorts are going to come together, and I'm very excited to hop into it. I'm going to get the pattern all set up as a PDF file so that I'm ready to print it, and then I'm going to get straight into making my first muslin. Hello, it is the next day and I'm ready to piece together this pattern. I'm very excited because this pattern is just a shorts pattern, which means it's a lot smaller than the other patterns that I've been making. So this pattern is actually only 18 pages. My other patterns were like somewhere in the neighborhood of 50, maybe 60 pages. But anyways, I'm getting to it. I'm very excited. I'm planning to make a muslin today. I thought about doing it last night, but I decided not to because it was getting dark out and that's no fun for you guys to watch unless I set up the lighting, but the lighting isn't super easy to set up. So anyways, that is why I'm doing it today and why I didn't finish doing it yesterday. But overall, I'm very excited. I chatted with Victoria about what kind of material I should be using because sometimes when you make a muslin, you actually want to use the material that the garment is going to be finished out of just because of the weight of the material or because of the way that it stretches, for example. One type of garment that comes to mind is if you were making a stretchy garment, you wouldn't want to use muslin because muslin doesn't have any stretch in it, and so it wouldn't give you anywhere near an accurate representation of the way that the product is actually going to turn out. With that being said, I asked Victoria if I should be using denim for this muslin, and she said that she would recommend using muslin. So I'm gonna use my muslin today and see how close this is to being ready for using denim. Based on the way that it looks on Illustrator, I think it looks really nice, but that doesn't really mean anything. It could look really nice on Illustrator and then not fit your body, especially because shorts are significantly more fitted than other garments might be. So it's important to get the fit right on them, and I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't get it right first try. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't get it right first try on literally any garment, but all that to say that I'm really, really happy with how this is turning out already. When I played around with it on Illustrator yesterday, I was feeling very confident in the way that it looked. I did draft a curved waistband for this one, and on my trouser pattern, I drafted a straight waistband. So I'm hoping that the curved waistband works well. I do generally prefer curved waistband over a straight waistband, but in the case of the trousers, it actually fit really nicely with the straight waistband. I'm not totally sure why sometimes patterns work better with straight waistbands and other times they work better with curved waistbands. I think I'll probably ask Victoria because that's something I'm really interested in. But yeah, with that being said, I'm excited for this curved waistband. I hope that it fits properly, and if not, I can always make adjustments. It shouldn't take me long at all to piece together this pattern, and then we will get straight into cutting the muslin. Yay! I think that when I do the muslin, I'm gonna do like a fast version of an entire pair of shorts. What I mean by that is I'm actually gonna cut all the pieces out. Like, I'll cut the fly shield and the pockets, and I'll piece them together where I think they're supposed to be based on how I drafted it. That way I'll know if I like the placement of the pockets, I like the shape of the pockets on the front, all that kind of stuff. When I was making this pattern yesterday, I was debating whether or not I should just do the 2 front pieces and then the 2 back pieces plus the yoke and the waistband and see how that fits. But I decided that it made more sense for me to pattern out everything, including the pockets. And yeah, I'm excited. I realized when I woke up this morning that I totally forgot to pattern out the belt loops. And I mean, it's not a big deal. Belt loops are literally just like a long rectangle, but I need to remember to do that. And I'll also probably want to draw in the placement of the belt loops so that I know that I like the placement of them on the muslin. I had also planned to potentially go out today and get denim for this. There's a local denim shop here that does super, super inexpensive and high quality selvage denim. The bolts that are 30 inches are $3.50 a yard, and the bolts that are 60 inches are $5 a yard. So the plan was to go down there today and pick up some of the selvage, but it's like a 20-minute drive, and it's raining today, and people in Southern California do not know how to drive in the rain. It's kind of like a madhouse out there. So I figured that I would save myself the trouble and not do that. I have maybe a yard of denim in my stash right now, and it's denim that I really, really like. I actually originally made a pair of Helene jeans out of it. So I'm hoping that I have enough to do a first toile after making this muslin, but I'm not totally positive. I think I might be able to squeak it out if I open up the fabric and kind of like, you know, place all the pieces to the best of my ability rather than trying to cut it on the fold. So anyways, I'm hoping that that works out because it's supposed to be raining for, I don't know, like the next week. And I do not want to have to drive out there in the rain. It's not so much that I'm worried about me driving in the rain, it's more so that other people on the road do not know how to drive in the rain. Before I moved to Southern California, which was like 6 months ago, I was living in Reno, so I'm pretty used to driving in other sorts of weather, whether that's, you know, rain or ice or snow, so I'm not super worried about it. But yeah, I do not need to be on the freeway today with a ton of crazies if I don't have to be. So with all that being said, I'm going to finish putting together this pattern and get straight into cutting the muslin. Oh my god, you guys, I do not know what's happening with this weather, but it is literally hailing outside. It was like pretty much sunshine and rainbows like 10 minutes ago, and now it is pouring hail, which is super loud, and I'm so sorry. I mean, I can't control the weather, so this is not what I had planned for the day. It rained a little bit this morning, but rain in the background is okay. Hail, on the other hand, I imagine for you guys is quite loud. So I might just start getting going on sewing. I mean, I'm just making a muslin, so I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna video this part unless it stops hailing, and then I'll get some behind the scenes clips for you. Otherwise, I might just be seeing you either when my toile is done or when this hail is done. I think it's actually supposed to be like this for another few days, unfortunately. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'll be back soon. Okay, so I just finished my muslin and I have it on, and thank goodness the rain and hail is finally done. Maybe not for the whole day, but it's done for now, so it's okay to film. Okay, so here are my first thoughts. I really like the way that the waistband is fitting. It feels comfortable, and I also like the level of it. I didn't add the interior waistband piece, and I like how tall it is currently, so I think that I need to add seam allowance to the waistband piece. I'm pretty happy with the pocket situation. I like how big they are. I'm seeing a little bit of pulling in the crotch area, but there's also a little bit of pulling in the bum area. The bum is like not scooped out enough, I think. So if I scoop out the bum, I'm hoping that it actually fixes this crotch area. I'm also going for a really relaxed fit with these. Like, I want it to be tight around the waist, but not so tight in the hip area and the thigh area. So I think I'm gonna be adding more ease to the hips. I actually added quite a bit of ease, so I'm surprised that it didn't show up the way that I was expecting it to. It's feeling a bit more fitted than I had anticipated based on the amount of ease that I put into the pattern. In terms of the length, I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about it yet. I did want a longer inseam. I think I actually put 5 inches of inseam on these. So I can't tell if it's flattering or not flattering. I think I might bring it up an inch, but I'm not totally sure. In terms of length, I'm gonna leave the pattern the way that it is for now. That way, when I actually cut out denim and I make these into real shorts, I can decide if I like the fit, and then also I can always take away fabric, but I can't add fabric. I'm really happy with how the side seam is laying. It's nice and straight. Not totally sure about the pocket placement. I have to take a picture of myself and kind of see if I like where the pockets are lying. It's hard to tell when it's actually on your body. And like right in this crotch area is where I was talking about it being a little bit too tight. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about it right now. Overall, I think it went pretty well. I did just send a video over to Victoria, but I think it's late enough in the day that she's probably already asleep at this point because she lives in Rome. So when I get feedback from her, then I'm gonna start to make adjustments. In the meantime, I don't think I'm gonna toy around with the pattern yet because I have ideas of what needs to be fixed, but I just wanna make sure that it's actually correct or it's the best way to go about it. Since I'm new to pattern making and making fit adjustments, it's really nice to get Victoria's opinion before making the adjustments, because sometimes I'll think of an adjustment, but maybe it would be better executed a certain way. For example, the other day we were chatting about my trouser pattern and there was a little bit of excess around the waist area, and my first thought was, oh, I can take it out of the side seams, but Victoria said that it would actually be better if I took it out of the middle back seam because essentially that's where the issue was showing up when the garment was on my body. Anyways, all that to say that I'm gonna wait for Victoria's opinion before I go and make any changes to the pattern, and then I think we're at a point where I can change the pattern in Illustrator, reprint it out again, and make a real wearable toile. I'm very, very excited for that, and I will see you when I've got some feedback from Victoria. Good morning. It is the next day and I'm very, very excited to be getting into these fit adjustments today. Last night I chatted with my friend Caitlin over on Instagram and I sent her a video of what the shorts look like on me, asking for her opinion on things like pocket placement. We did decide that I'm going to change the way that the pockets are. I want to make them bigger and I think I'm going to slightly change the angle of them. One thing that she asked me was, how does it feel when you stick your hand inside of your pocket? And I never really thought about that, but it helped me kind of get an idea if I liked the orientation of the pocket. I think it's a little bit more angled than I want it to be, so I'm gonna like kick it back a tiny bit so that your hands go into them really nicely. The pocket's also on the smaller side and it doesn't seem very flattering for the booty area, so I'm gonna enlarge it. It was really nice to get Caitlin's opinion as well as just another set of eyes on the garment itself and the way that it looks overall. This morning I also got feedback from Victoria via the Discord group. She essentially sent me a video where she's comparing the muslin on my body versus versus my inspiration pictures. They have a very comfortable fit, and my muslin is sitting a lot closer to my body than I wanted it to be. Also, the fly and the fly facing at the front of the shorts is significantly larger than it needs to be. I basically took a jean zipper and I put it up against the shorts, and I measured the distance that the fly needs to be shortened by. So I'm gonna shorten the fly, and then I also need to add ease to basically everywhere around the side seams. I'm gonna keep the waist portion the same because I really like how the waistband fits and where it lies on my body. So the top of the side seams are going to stay the same, but I'm going to quickly blend out into more of an A-line shape. Then also, based on my inspiration pictures, you can kind of tell that in the crotch area, the garment is sitting significantly farther away from the body than mine is. So I'm going to take the points at the crotch area and move them down so that there's more space between me and the garment. That should also ease up the puckering that's happening in the back because the crotch is too close to my body. Then because I'm lowering the crotch, I'm also going to change the inseam by a little bit so that it doesn't end up being far too long on my legs. One other thing that I might play around with is how the front pockets look. Basically, the scoop of the front pockets here is kind of harsh, and I'm thinking that I'll just, like smooth it out a little bit in here. Overall, I'm feeling really happy about this. I also feel pretty confident in the changes that need to be made in order for me to get these shorts to a place that I want them to be at. I'm gonna go ahead and make those changes on Illustrator, and then I'm gonna touch base with Victoria and see if she recommends that I make another muslin or if I can get into making a wearable toile next. It's really, really nice to have someone to ask simple questions like that to, because I can basically just get her opinion on whether or not she thinks the pattern is close enough for me to make a wearable toile, because obviously I would prefer to make a wearable toile. However, if it was important for me to make a muslin before getting to that wearable toile, I totally would. But obviously muslins do take time and resources, so if I can just skip that step, then I will. So yeah, it's really nice to get her professional opinion on literally every question I have, but that specifically because it saves on time and resources. So anyways, I'm gonna play around on Illustrator and I will be back after that.